It's time for another Dirt Daily. Today I am in the shop working on the summer camp Jeep. Today's project is the front axle. I was just going to swap tires on the front axle and then I found a few little issues. So today we're going to dive into the front end. Nothing major, just minor service stuff, but little things that have gotten worn in, worn out, and we have to fix them, rebuild them, or replace them. So let's dive right into this. Let's get this axle back together. Axle shafts are rebuilt. I knocked out all the seals. I was going to save the ones on the long side, and I decided, no, now's a great time to take all the seals out and clean the housing. So I cleaned it, I rubbed rags through it with long sticks, I sprayed it all down, and I got brand new seals. You can rebuild these. For some reason, I was just, I don't know, money was burning a hole in my pocket. I don't know, but for some reason, I just decided I'm gonna get brand new ones. So I got a brand new seal housing, brand new double seals in there, has all new O-rings. You can rebuild these. You can get a kit with all new O-rings and all new seals. I will do that for the seal retainers that I removed, but I also just ordered new stuff. This is the same seal that goes on the seal on the inside. This is the one that's gonna go press into the outside. So I'm going to replace the outer seal, I'm going to replace the inner seal. You do need to put a little bit of black RTV on here. I think the last time I put this in there, I got a little bit ambitious and covered it everywhere. The instructions say just put some over the O-rings. I don't know why, because it has O-rings and the O-rings should seal up against the inside of the tube, but it does call for a little bit of black RTV. So I'm going to put some on there, press this in, and we can start getting this axle back together. Here we are, all lubed up. This orange thing's a flashlight, so don't be confused. And there is a flat plane on one side of the seal here with a little notch in it. That is going to be where that little set screw goes in. So this, we just slide it right in here, and just like that. It says you can just put it in by hand. It just dropped right in there. Give it a little tap just to make you feel good. Make sure that little notch is lined up, and then it comes with a brand new set screw. So if you dropped yours, don't worry, there's a new one, and that just threads right into this hole to lock everything in place. Before I put the axle shafts in, I'll put some grease on the ends of the axle shaft splines. It also doesn't hurt if you come in, put a little bit of grease on these seals, just enough to make them a little pliable when that shaft slides through them. So this little set screw comes in, locks it all in place. Perfect. This is the outer seal. If you have an early Spidertrax axle, it doesn't have a provision for this. There's actually a little metal ring that you weld in to the outside of the axle tube, and then these press into. It's like a little machined ring. But you can get that ring later and add it in if you wanted to do that. So this, we're just gonna slide right in here. I'm not gonna put any RTV or anything on that one. It kind of starts pretty easily by hand, and then I'll take a little seal press tool, just throw that on the ground, and line this up with the seal, and then I'll just take my hammer and just kind of tap it with the handle. How'd we do? Looks perfect. Time to put the third member in. I already put the lube locker gasket on. This is a reusable gasket. Has kind of like an O-ring style. The Spidertrax housing, you use 4 nuts or 4 studs that come out of the housing, and then that helps line up the third member, and then you put nuts on those, and then there are 6 more bolts that bolt in to hold it in place. So we are going to, nice and easy, drive this third member into place. Oop, try not to smash it in, smash the ring gear into anything. Oh, come on. I got one leg of this transmission jack all jack-wagoned up. There we go. All right. We go up just a hair. Look at that. Oh boy, there it goes. And it just kind of slowly settles right in there. Perfect. That big guy. That thing will pinch your fingers if you're not careful. And then we will replace all the bolts, put some new nuts on these studs. It had nylocks, and I think it's probably best to replace those nylocks. I did put a little bit of grease on those inner seals. And it's all coming. Ow. Son of a... I hit my head on that bar, and then I bounced away, and I hit my chin right on this transmission jack. That hurt. I don't think I bit my tongue off. Otherwise, how will I eat ice cream? Okay. All right, let's button this up before we hurt ourselves. Tight, 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 tight. And then put the drive shaft back in. Oh, come on, you. Seriously? Come on, guy. Don't you fall off. You just be good. Okay. Hey, Sean. How are you doing?
Great. I have some firewood for you.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, all of them are cut to pieces.
Oh, perfect.
There, when you go into the gate, it's on the left side in front of my tractor.
Okay.
And then I have 2 logs. So you said you have a chainsaw. If you want to cut the logs there,
Okay.
and then bring them in pieces.
Okay. I can definitely get the small stuff. I'm leaving
No.
on
Okay.
Monday for a couple weeks, so if I don't get the big piece, I'll get it when I
That's
come
fine.
back.
That's fine.
Okay, cool.
So my gate company, I'll text you my gate code.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Sean. that guy. Oh, come on. There it goes. Mr. Brown, how is my favorite guy? Mr. Brown, he's such a super dude. Jeez. Okay. Time to put the axle shaft in. Put some grease on the splines and down here at the seal surface. This whole axle is ready to slide in. It's going to go through the outer seal And as the U-joints clear, then it will spline right into the locker. Coming together, I like to come in on this surface where the unit bearing seats into the knuckle and coat it with anti-seize, just so that we don't have issues in the future if we ever need to pull that unit bearing out. Just set our unit bearing bolts up here and put a little bit of red Loctite on the threads so that they are ready to put the unit bearing in. Come back in with the grease gun and put some grease on the splines. So I kind of realized something. I may be playing with the power of the universe here. I might be messing stuff up because this is RCV's grease and I'm using it on U-joints. This is actually the same grease I used to grease the U-joints when I assembled them. I don't know what's gonna happen. Using CV grease in U-joints could all blow up. In case you don't know, RCV makes a constant velocity joint. I'll stick my arm right in that. They make a constant velocity joint that basically does the same job as a U-joint. It's different. And I think this is probably some of the strongest axles you can get with the Spidertrax axle and the CTM joint. And RCV also claims to have the strongest axle you can get. So is the grease gonna be the deal breaker? Is it gonna be what sets it apart or blows it all up? I'm pretty sure it's gonna be fine. Okay, next we'll come in here with our unit bearing, slide it in, and it all falls right into place. Grab these bolts. You just want to get these all started before you get crazy and tighten them down. All right. All right, run those things in tight, and then you want to reef on these things. You do not want those bolts to come loose. Don't forget the little Zerk fittings on the caps. And don't forget to grease your joints after you drive it a bit. Just a few more steps. We're going to put this little O-ring out on the edge end of the axle. Then the snap ring that holds the axle out here. You might need to push the axle out just a little to get to that groove. That snaps in. And then your cap. I'm going to clean this out, put some fresh grease in it. Nothing better than your axle going together after doing a little bit of work to it. Getting it all spruced up, ready for more adventures. Now these Spidertrax unit bearings, they can come in a lot of different bolt patterns. Summer Camp Jeep is 8 on 6.5. I went with that bolt pattern because it's basically a 1-ton, and I kind of figured I would stick with the other wheel bolt patterns that I have on some of my other 1-ton rigs. Everything is turning nice. Let's put the rotor on, caliper on, and fill it up with oil. Don't forget that after all this work. Nice. Perfect. Look at it all coming together. So nice. I'm using some Maxima 250 weight gear oil. This is what GearWorks recommends for their differentials. I'm trying not to overfill it. I believe the best option is to go just up to or slightly above the bottom of the axle shaft. So some people say on these high pinions you got to fill them really, really high. I don't think that's the case. I think you need gear oil, but once it's in there, it's going to go everywhere. Oh yeah, that looks perfect. That looks perfect. We did it. We rebuilt the front axle in the summer camp Jeep. Rebuilt those U-joints, replaced those seals. Luckily, we found those worn seals and were able to replace them all. Differentials back in, unit bearings back on, brakes are back on, everything's dialed. Time to go over this Jeep with a grease gun and then bolt the tires on, pack some tools, and hit the trail. That's it for this Dirt Daily. We'll see you guys next time.